Hey, what's up guys? My name's Samuel Leeds and I'm just here in Thailand, and I was just thinking, isn't it crazy that when I was at school, my aspirations was to be a dustbin man or something, and all my teachers, bar one, thought I was stupid and basically set me up to fail in business and life. And I really thought I was stupid, and they don't teach you at school how to be a business owner. They don't teach you financial literacy, financial education. So I wanted in this video to share some of the basic fundamental things that I believe should be taught in schools that are currently not. At the moment, I'm actually building schools. Just built 2 schools in Uganda on the basis that the financial literacy can be in the curriculum. And I wanted to share some of the key things that I believe should be taught in schools. Maybe you missed these things, so I'm going to summarize in this video. So the first thing is passive income. The biggest myth about passive income is that passive income doesn't exist. Sometimes people say, oh, passive income, what? No, passive income, it's not like a scam that gurus talk about to try and sell you something. Passive income is something that pretty much every successful business in the world relies on and has. Any business can create passive income by systemizing the business, having staff. Passive income is very, very, very real. I think the best way to get passive income is from property investment. What actually is passive income? Passive income is money that you make that you haven't had to work for. Passive income is when you get paid while you sleep. Right now, I'm in Thailand. I've been in Thailand for a week and I'm here for another week, and I'm getting paid. My properties that I own in the UK and all across the world, the rent is still coming to me, even though I'm not in the country. I'm relaxing, I'm getting a suntan here on the beach in Thailand. But I'm still getting paid because I've got a business that's set up and systemized that I get paid whether I'm asleep, whether I'm traveling. So passive income is something that's just never talked about in school. When you're at school, they don't say to you, if you need money for something, they don't say, well, go and get some passive income, son. At school, it's go and get a what? Go and get a job. So we're trained at school to think in terms of trading our time for money. We're trained at school to be good boys, good girls, and to put our hand up when we want to go to the toilet. We're programmed to be employees. So the first massive thing is passive income. Passive income versus active income. Rather than trying to make millions of pounds, you just need to make 2, 3, 4, 5,000 pounds a month, but it needs to be passive. So figure out how much money you need to live on and then absolutely set out to earn that figure in passive income. So that's the first thing. Second thing is debt. So at school, we don't really learn anything about debt. And there's 2 types of debt. There's good debt and there's bad debt. When you understand good debt, you can get very, very, very rich. And good debt is where you take out a loan, and that money that you take out, that debt, you use to get you rich. So an example would be, I got a loan for £15,000 when I was about 19 years old. And that loan that I got for £15,000, I used it as a deposit to buy a house. Now, my interest on the £15,000 was only 10%. So I'm having to pay £1,500 a year. I'm having to pay an interest back to the bank. However, I now own a house and my profit is way more than £1,500 a year. It's more like £5,000 a year. So with the profit that I'm getting from that property, I'm using the profit, number one, to reinvest and to save and to live off, but I'm only using a small portion of it to service the debt. So debt is your best friend. Another thing about debt is debt, you can use the interest payments on the debt as tax deductible. Now, you need to be a business to do this, but this is why all the rich businesses in the world utilize debt and love debt. Countries use debt. So understanding the power and the importance of debt and the difference between good debt and bad debt. Third thing is leverage. They don't teach you about how to leverage. I'm not just talking about leveraging your time. I'm also talking about how to leverage your money. So an example would be that house that I bought. How much did I put down? Well, I put down nothing, but the deposit was 15,000. The rest was a mortgage. The house that I bought was £100,000. I still own it today. It's in Bloxwich on Millfield Avenue. I bought it as a teenager. Now think about this, okay? If I bought a house for £100,000 and I put down £15,000, as it happens, I put down nothing. But let's say that £15,000 was my money. And then the mortgage was £85,000. If I'm putting down £15,000, the house today is worth £250,000. There's no sponsor to the video, but later this week and next week, I'm spending one day running the Property Investors Crash Course. Tickets are just £1. So whatever you're doing, click the link in the description, get booked on right now. Let's spend the day together. It all starts at the crash course. Anyway, back to the video. So I put down £15,000, but now the house has gone up by £150,000. So I have 10x'd my money. Have I 10x'd my money when the house has only gone up by 150%? How have I 10x, 1,000% in my money? Because of leverage. Because I'm buying stuff not using my money. As it happens, I didn't put down any money, I used the bank's money. So I bought an asset using the bank's money, and the asset that I bought using the bank's money is not only producing me positive cash flow every single month, but also it's going up in value. And who's benefiting from the appreciation? Me. So that's the power of leverage. That's the power of good debt, bad debt. That's the power of passive income. Another thing is asset versus liability. Kids just don't understand. They don't know the difference between an asset and a liability. What is an asset and what is a liability? Again, a lot of people think that the house that they own is an asset. So what people do, they'll go to school, get a job, and then they'll buy a house, and they think that the house is an asset, but it's not. And then they'll pay off the mortgage on the house. And it's a death trap, because by the time you've actually bought a house and paid off the mortgage, you're probably 65 years old, ready for retirement on what? With a pension? So this whole idea of owning things that are not assets, like owning a car, owning a house, that's what people do, right? They want to own stuff. Actually, all I want to own is I want to own assets. Do you know I didn't buy a house to live in until 2.5 years ago? So I was a multi-millionaire before I actually bought a house to live in. You know why? Because the house that I live in is not an asset. In fact, the house that I live in is the only house that I own. I own a lot of houses. That's not an asset. And the reason it's not an asset is because I bought it to live in, so I can't make money from it. I'm not renting it out. It's not putting money in my pocket. If something breaks, who has to fix it? I have to fix it. It's a liability. It loses money in my pocket. Now, if I've got a property that I rent out, sure, I might be responsible for the repairs, depending on if it's commercial or residential, but I'm getting money from it because I'm renting it out. I'm putting 10% of the rent aside for repairs. I'm putting 10% aside for management. I'm putting 10% aside for other bits and bobs and voids. I'm putting maybe 20% aside for the mortgage payments. And then the other 50% is what? Is my profit. So the definition of an asset is when you own something or control something that puts money in your pocket every single month. I don't want to own a car. What if I save up for a car, put down £20,000 and buy a car, now I've got to pay to maintain it, I've got to pay for petrol, buy a house to live in it. It's just a liability. I want to put my money and invest in things that are assets that are putting actually cash flowing positive. Another massive thing, and this is the final one I'm going to mention, but I could go on. I could probably give 100 different things that they should have learned in school about business, about finance. Final thing is sales. In life and in business, you have to be able to sell. So they don't teach you this at all in school. I've naturally always been a pretty good salesperson. I've been articulate, I'm a good persuader, I'm a good communicator. And at school, it was all about, can you pass the test? Can you memorize the mathematical equations to pass the test? I've got ADHD, I've got dyslexia, I wasn't very good at that. No one noticed my ability to be able to communicate, to articulate, and to sell. That's a skill. It's an art. And I think it's something that the difference between people that are super successful and people that struggle, a lot of people that struggle, they might be A students, they might be super academic. But if you can't sell, how are you going to be able to do business? If you can't sell an idea, if you can't sell a concept, how are you going to be able to do business? So learn to sell, learn to close. In Britain, in England, people don't like closing for business. They don't like asking for money. They don't, it's awkward. You have to be able to close, you have to be able to sell, have to understand about business structure. So there's just so much. It needs to be a class in school. Anyway, I'm gonna go and dip in the pool now. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys on the other side.